We are back with the Unmasking the Edomites series, and we are here with episode 12. Now, the reason I'm whispering is because it's late at night when I'm making this episode, and I have neighbors, so I have to be quiet. But the reason why this series is back after it was originally ended is because I've received some new wisdom about the Edomites, and now our journey on learning the truth about Esau is back on again because we have new things to learn. Now, shout out to sons and daughters of the Covenant of Yah for sharing some new sources with me. So, what recently happened was, I was under the belief that all of the descendants of Esau are in one place, and that they didn't go nowhere. Now, we do know that the scripture says that Esau's secret places, like we call it his headquarters, are in Arabia. And when you look at the prophecy, Teman and Dedan, Basra, that's where his strongholds are. But the truth is, there were a people who were sailors from the Red Sea called Phoenicians, and they were a mixture of Canaanites and Edomites. So with that being said, it has been talked about that the Phoenicians actually made it to the Americas before the Europeans did. And with that being said, that means that some of the descendants of Esau actually made it into the Americas. Before we get into the new written sources, here are some ancient depictions of what the Phoenicians looked like. And these depictions line up perfectly of what the ancient depictions of what the Edomites looked like. Because as we've already learned a lot in this series, white people are not Edomites. Esau was a Hebrew, and his people were people of color. Now, I've heard many Israelites talk about the idea that Esau is mixed in among the Israelites in America, and that's why you have so much crime, violence, and self-hatred in the black community. It's because the black community doesn't really exist. It's a myth. It's been infiltrated by Edom. And there's also the potential that Moab has infiltrated the black community in the States as well, because there's actually groups of black people in America who identify as Moabites, and they do not like the Hebrew Israelite movement. So that's something very interesting to think about, that we should not be adopting the heathen custom made by the Europeans of basing ourselves based on hair texture and skin color, because Jacob had a twin brother Esau and cousins, Moab and Ammon, and all of those people would look just like us.
You have a school of thought that teaches that the Moabites are Chinese people, which is crazy. Because we got pictures of the people today who claim to be descendants of the Moabites. This is one picture of them, but there's a particular picture that shows other people being the Moabites who look like any brother in this room right now.
Islam.
The Phoenicians, descendants from Sidon, peopled America. The Spaniards, sprung from Tubal of Japhet, have subjected the Americans, descended from Sidon of Canaan. Wherein is fulfilled that prophecy of Moses, that Canaan should be servant to Japhet. But it seems a great mistake for to derive the Phoenicians from Canaan, for they are extracted from Shem, Heber, Abraham, and Esau, surnamed Edom, from his fang, Adam. When he asked of Jacob, that red, because he knew not how to call the prepared pottage by its proper name. And Edom, fettling himself on Mount Seir, a part of the stony Arabia, and on the coast of the Red Sea, gave denomination to it, because that sea was much frequented and navigated by his successors. The Greeks call it Erythrum, from erythros, who is the fame with a fa, and likewise signifies red. Here too is added that phoenix and erythros have the same signification in the Greek. So then, The Idumeans, taking the name of Phoenicians from the great Phoenix, spread themselves far and near under mighty kings by navigation in the Red Sea, and from thence planted several coasts and islands, removing at last to Syria.